Hello, good evening, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. This show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA, and our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab, the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show tonight. We are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Port of Tema. Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port Ghana. Port Ghana. Now we're going to be getting interactive with you, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and then send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559 019 177, 0559 019 177. Now, when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Raw 95.
Fill up with Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GOIL.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Raw 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GOIL Super XP Raw 95. GOIL, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance Motor Policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima.
Tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life
can be like the sea sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302-246-319 or 0243-690-492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the President Nana Addo Akufo had cause to commission some 15 gantry cranes, state-of-the-art post-Panamax gantry cranes in the port of Tema, that's at the MPS terminal. We'll bring you details of that particular story, plus the fact that the Ghana Maritime Authority, in conjunction with the International Maritime Organization, also organized a knowledge-sharing workshop here in Ghana, in the capital Accra. We'll tell you what we know about that. The International Maritime Hospital, IMaH, is also raising awareness about preterm births. And indeed, the Interdepartmental Games of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has resumed post-COVID. Let's take a look at these stories and more.
President Nana Akufo has commissioned 15 gantry cranes valued at $50 million at the Meridian Port Services Terminal 3 to boost the efficiency of the port of Tema. Additionally, President Akufo cut the sod for the second phase of the Tema Port Expansion Project, which would add 270,000 square meters to the existing capacity of 1 million square meters. President Akufo said the sustained investment in the modernized, resilient logistics chain infrastructure was one of the surest ways of catapulting the country to become the world's leading exporter of agricultural produce. He stated that the MPS 703 project was a good example of a logistics platform that would enable Ghana realize its goal of becoming a top exporter of agricultural products.
It is not prudent that our nation continues to be an import-driven and dependent economy, when we have the capacity to be self-reliant, and when we can create jobs for our vibrant youth population by supporting developments like this. Investing in critical port infrastructure provides the foundation for industries to create jobs and foster the export-driven economy we want to build.
The Minister of Transport, Kweku Furesiama, disclosed that the road construction from the port to the Tema motorway roundabout will commence in the first quarter of 2024.
My information from the MD of MPS and GPHA is that they are nearing completion in terms of documentation, and I can assure you that by the first quarter of next year, you will see the construction starting, and that is a promise.
The Chief Executive Officer of MPS, Mohamed Samara, stated that when the expansion works are done, the port of Tema will be able to compete with the world's most prominent ports as well as the largest ports on the African continent.
This vessel is 366 meters long. That's like 4 football fields, 4 football stadiums floating in. It's 51 meters wide. That's more than half a football field as well in width and 4 in length, and capable of carrying 15,000 20-foot containers. And that's one of actually the largest calling on the west coast of Africa. And this investment is the very essence of this, to attract such size vessel, to bring the economy of scale to the country and create us as a hub, deliver the hub concept for Ghana and the leadership for Ghana within the west coast of Africa.
The Director General of GPHA, Michael Luguje, touted the expansion works at the port of Tema and Takrady. He described the MPS Terminal 3 as the best in West and Central Africa.
I wish to just specially express our gratitude to Mr. President for his dedicated commitment and support to the port sector. He's always been there to assist us, to help us in our vision, to guide us in the way forward and help us move forward. Indeed, he's not just helping us get positioned Tema Port as a container hub, but positioning the port of Takrady as well as the oil and gas services hub of our country. He was with us last December in Takrady, where he cut the sod for our oil and gas services terminal, which is progressing very well. He helped us to commission another container terminal in Takrady, and of course, state-of-the-art bulk terminal in Takrady. The bulk terminal, I'm happy to mention, is breaking records in terms of the ship size it is handling, and the record time it is able to deliver cargo.
There were solidarity messages from two of the shareholders of MPS.
Ghana is a great hub for the region. As a logistics service provider, AGL will offer several logistics solutions that will be beneficial to the local market and the neighboring countries.
As MPS continues to expand its capacity in anticipation of increased trade volumes, we recognize that all this investment would be futile without a corresponding investment in the skills and talent of individuals. For this reason, APM Terminals, as a shareholder, will remain dedicated to championing initiatives and programs that equip our employees with the necessary skills to manage the port for generations to come.
The Ghana Maritime Authority, in collaboration with the International Maritime Organization, IMO, has organized the 4-day knowledge sharing workshop. The aim of the workshop is to develop a knowledge partnership mechanism for the development of cooperation activities in the maritime fields and to share IMO's mobilization strategy and ultimately identify needs and seek possible cooperation activities. Speaking at the workshop, the Deputy Director General of Finance and Administration at the Ghana Maritime Authority, Yao Akosa-Intwi, said the collaboration between the IMO and Ghana reflects a shared commitment to fostering knowledge exchange, enhancing maritime safety, and promoting sustainable practices in the shipping industry. The IMO's Knowledge Partnership Workshop, according to him, provides a unique platform for stakeholders to come together, share insights, and collectively work towards innovative solutions that will shape the future of maritime governance and operations in the sub-region.
This workshop provides a unique platform for donors to understand the specific needs and demands of recipients, allowing for more targeted and effective assistance. Simultaneously, it enables recipients to gain better access to diverse resources available for addressing their pertinent needs. This true collaborative effort will strive to build bridges between nations and organizations and individuals, and also foster an environment where best practices are shared, networks are strengthened, and communications enhanced.
He said by pooling a collective knowledge, expertise, and resources, stakeholders in the maritime industry can address the complex challenges facing the maritime industry more effectively.
The goals of this workshop are profound, as it aims not only to share IMO's resource mobilization strategy, but also to identify needs and explore potential cooperation opportunities. This is not a merely theoretical exercise. It is practical. It is a practical step forward towards creating a more interconnectedness and supportive maritime community.
The Deputy Director, Department of Partnerships and Projects at the International Maritime Organization, Yong Song Kim, intimated the objectives of the workshop.
IMO tried to provide the platform where the donors meet the potential recipient. And IMO communicate with recipient countries and trying to find out what is needed in the country. And we don't just provide that information to potential donors, but at IMO, we make it in the form of development project. So we make the project incorporating the needs from the country. Then we communicate with potential donors.
Premature births occur before 37 completed weeks of pregnancy, and 1 in every 10 births are considered to be preterm. Premature births are one of the major causes of newborn mortalities. However, the International Maritime Hospital says this phenomenon can be alleviated with increased education. To this end, IMaH assembled clients of the hospital, including families of surviving preterm babies, hospital staff, and other members of the public last Saturday to help them appreciate how little actions can provide better outcomes in premature births. This meeting coincided with the World Prematurity Day, celebrated on the 17th of November each year. Resident pediatrician at the International Maritime Hospital said the hospital has an enviable combination of medical professionals and health facilities to treat premature births.
IMaH has the neonatal intensive care unit, which is well equipped with all what we need for preterm care or for the care of babies who are born preterm. We have incubators, we have radiant warmers, we have CPAP, we have phototherapy. We have well-trained pediatric and neonatal nurses. We have doctors, pediatricians like myself, who help make the health care of these babies very good and very easy for their parents.
At the end of the day, management of the hospital outdoor the play area for children at the pediatric ward. In keeping with the organization's commitment to health and wellness, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority in Tema has commenced its Interdepartmental Games for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic. Held at the GPHA built near J. Krakow II Sports Complex in Tema, Newtown, the games saw participation from all categories of staff of the authority in Tema. The various games included football, sack race, ludo, oware, cards, tug of peace, draft and eating competition. The various departments at both the port and headquarters were grouped into 12, with the fire and safety team emerging as the overall winners and the security and mechanical engineering departments placing first and second runner-ups respectively. Director of Port Sandra Opoku revealed during her congratulatory remarks that the games will be held next year.
Oh yes, next year when we meet again, we'll have more ladies and more participation. Yes. This is the first time in many years, and yet the numbers have been really, really impressive. And so congratulations to all of you, and thank you to the marketing team for putting all this together.
All right, so that's what happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And then there with that lively, interdepartmental games of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, how I wish the Marketing and Corporate Affairs Department, which put together this particular, games, would have emerged tops. But I think that we would need to just go back to the drawing board and then see what we can present next year so we can lift the trophy. We're now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry globally.
Portugal's first zero-emission electric ferry has been delivered by Grupo ET following a christening ceremony at Naval Tuggers Shipyard in Sigzo. The vessel, Saliconia, has been developed entirely by national companies to serve a Portuguese region. It represents a maritime milestone as the first electric ferry on the Iberian Peninsula. The 7.3 million euro vessel will shortly proceed to Aveiro to undergo navigation and loading tests before its official inauguration, when it will replace an existing ferry service that currently connects São Jacinto and the Fort of Barra in El Havo. South Korea's Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy has revealed its plans to invest $545 million into next-generation shipbuilding technology and carbon-free fuels. The announcement was made at the Emergency Economy Ministerial Meeting and the Export and Investments Promotion Meeting. The new strategy, dubbed K-Shipbuilding Strategy for Next Generation Market Dominance, aims to respond to internal and external challenges for Korea in the next generation shipbuilding market. The ministry plans to seize over 80% of the next generation shipbuilding market.
All right, so welcome back. We're now taking up our word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. And today's word is port service. Port service.
Port services refer to the range of services provided to ships and cargo in a port, such as towage and stevedoring.
All right, so welcome back. We are zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we're taking a look at the exemptions and waivers that were announced by the Honorable Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta last week when he read the government's economic policy and budget statement for the year 2024. He mentioned some significant, exemptions and waivers and we're trying to examine how impactful these will be. One group that actually were at the forefront of, as it were, clamoring for some waivers were CropLife. They are into agri inputs. They have a lot of companies that import agri inputs in the country, and they thought that, yes, if this is done, it would help by way of ensuring food security in our country and a host of other benefits that will accrue to the generality of the Ghanaian people. And, God willing and God being so good, I think that the 2024 budget captured this particular, policy for them. We want to examine how beneficial this would be to them and how they received the message when the finance minister announced it on the floor of Parliament when he delivered the economic policy and budget statement for the year 2024. And we would also take a look at electric vehicles, because that's a policy that the Ministry of Transport is pursuing vigorously. And later on next year, or this year, yes, by the end of this month, they would be in Dubai to partake in a climate change summit. And the focus is going to be on electric vehicles. And so the government has announced some hefty waivers for electronic vehicle importation into the country. We'll look at what that means for those who bring in cars. I understand it's generalized, and so it's not just that you walk into a garage or a garage owner can just import an electronic vehicle and it's like, okay, yeah, you have that waiver and you can enjoy it. No, I think that we need to educate and sensitize the public on what this particular waiver, which has been, which is going to last 8 years, as announced by the finance minister, seeks to do. And so it gives me pleasure this evening to introduce to us Mr. Kadri Rashad. He's no stranger to IMaH. He's been here before. He is the programs manager for CropLife Ghana. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you very much,
Rashad. Yes.
Today I've come with a smiling face.
We thank God for that. We thank God for that. Sure. And also in the studios is Mr. Clifford Ansu, who is the General Secretary of the Vehicle and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana, VADU. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. And good evening to
awesome.
All your listeners and viewers as well.
Great. Thank you very much indeed. So let me begin with you, Rashad. And I found out from you in my preamble, you intimated, I just, told the public what the finance minister said, the announcement he made, on the floor of Parliament. I think I have it here. Let me just, for purposes of emphasis, go through it. That's number point 74. He says, Mr. Speaker, further to the above, the following reliefs have been prioritized for implementation. I, extend zero rate of VAT on locally manufactured African prints for 2 more years. And II, waive import duties on an import of electric vehicles for public transportation for a period of 8 years. And now waive import duties on semi-knocked down and completely knocked down electric vehicles imported by registered EV assembly companies, that's electronic vehicle assembly companies in Ghana for a period of 8 years. That's 4. Extend zero rate of VAT on locally assembled vehicles for 2 more years. 5. Zero rate of VAT on locally produced sanitary pads. Okay. 6. Grant import duty waivers for raw materials for the local manufacture of sanitary pads. 7. Grant exemptions on the importation of agricultural machinery, equipment and inputs, and medical consumables, raw materials for the pharmaceutical industry. And 8. A VAT flat rate of 5% to replace the 15% standard VAT rate on all commercial properties, which will also be introduced to simplify administration. Well, we don't want to go into all of it, but this is what we want to limit our discussion to tonight. The waivers on import duties on agro inputs, and then that on electric vehicles. So let me begin with you. What was your reaction when you heard the finance minister make this particular announcement on the floor of Parliament last week?
Thank you very much, Mona. First of all, I'd like to greet your listeners out there. And then back to your question. It's been a whole year of hustle and tussling. Mm-hmm. And we've been on this same platform a couple of times to talk about the need for government to implement the tax exemptions. Well, this came up, our quest for government to grant the tax exemptions came up last year when somewhere in September 22nd or 12th, government passed the Tax Exemptions Act, right. 2022 Act 1083. And in that Tax Exemptions Act, agri-inputs were not captured. And that would mean that this year, whoever was bringing in agri-inputs into the country would have to pay all the port charges, including the duty, which increased the cost of inputs exorbitantly. And this had a lot of significant impact on food security and the cost of inputs as well. And this made us start to engage government and other stakeholders in that same value chain, for government to give us a listening ear, understand that tax exemptions that hitherto were given to the industry on the importation to agricultural inputs was very critical. And listening to the finance minister present the budget, and as you rightly mentioned on number 7, I think, point 7, VII.
Yes.
He has mentioned that they will give tax exemptions to agri-inputs, and this came, this was like music to the ears of us and then the majority of the importers across the country.
Majority of your companies?
Yes.
CropLife, how many companies do you have under your belt?
Currently, CropLife, we have about 23 companies and still counting, and all these companies are into manufacture, importation and distribution of crop protection products and fertilizers as well. Crop protection products, as we know, are pesticides.
Yes.
And they also import other agri equipment such as machinery, seeds, and other tools as such. So this was really music to the ears of our companies, and then all those into the agricultural value chain, because they know how significant this is going to be, a game changer in the food security initiatives of this country. This has become very important because if you just in June this year, government launched the Planting for Food and Job Phase 2.
Yes.
And as it is, agriculture in Ghana here contributes to about 38.3% of the workforce.
Yes.
You know, and that is huge. 38.3% of the workforce. And it's contributed to about 20% of GDP for the last 6 years, from 2017 to 2022. So that shows you how significant agriculture is in the economy of Ghana. And before you can achieve all these things, inputs has to be given priority.
Right.
When input is accessible and available, then you can increase productivity and then achieve the food security that we've all been looking out for.
So what you say is that your members can heave a sigh of relief with the announcement by the finance minister?
Yes, we can breathe a sigh of relief, but we are not stopping there. Oliver Twist will always ask for more. Yes. The government has made commitments to granting these exemptions. We will laud government in that respect, because a government that listens to its citizenry is worth commending.
Right.
And we'll take this platform to also commend government for listening to our plea. And also, I think this platform has been very helpful because we've been here a couple of times, and through these platforms, government has listened to us and then has given us attention.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. When I return to you, I would want to find out from you whether you've taken steps since you heard the announcement to follow up and know when this particular policy is taking place. We know it's in 2024, how soon it will be in 2024, and then, when exactly, how it will be done, as it were, and all those ones. Whether you've taken, time to follow and get all these details so that you stand in readiness to benefit from it. But let me come to Mr. Ansuji Abo and find out from you. First of all, I know you want to give us some education. For instance, I didn't know what knockdown vehicle or semi-knockdown is and all that. I mean, I categorized everything to be in the kind of like category of accident vehicles. Right. I would not want you to tell us, whether you are directly benefiting from this particular policy as announced by the government. You tell us that. But first of all, educate us. I'm curious. I want to know what a semi-knockdown vehicle is and what a knockdown vehicle is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mona.
Yes.
Let me see a very
No, for those of you who don't know, Mr. Ansuji Abo was my mate in the university when we were doing our first degree. We sat in the same class.
Thank
and
you.
We did a lot of things together.
Thank you for that of your compliment.
So.
Right. So let me say good evening to
my
VADAC members across Ghana.
Yes.
and more specifically my colleagues also at my workplace. Can you see first that to be precise?
Right.
Yeah, Krantin, Abiku, Richard, and Alice. Let me say good evening to them.
You are giving them funds.
Good.
You pay.
Anyway.
Yes.
When you get there, we shall see.
All right.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
This particular budget does not address our concerns as car dealers. That is number one.
Okay.
Because this one, it talk about semi-knockdown.
Yes.
Complete knockdown.
Yes.
And enhanced knockdown. These are technical
jargons.
Three,
yeah, sure.
Unless they take their time to explain to you. And I even wonder
That's why you are here to educate us.
Good. I even wonder why Minister went to Parliament this time to talk about this. I'm saying this because already those who have registered under the Ghana Automotive Development Agenda or Program, whatever kit that they bring into this country, they don't pay any tax. That is known fact. They don't pay any tax for any equipment that they bring. They don't pay tax for any kit that they bring for this project. So my minister says that, we are going to give them 8 years, additional 8 years. It means that he should have, told us that, we are extending the facility that we're giving to the people. But if you say you are going to waive this exemption, it means that somebody who does not know will say that, the government has done well. Meanwhile, you've not done anything. It is already there.
Okay.
Since these assemblies came to this country, they've never paid any tax for whatever that they import.
Okay.
Good. And SKD...
But the emphasis, remember, is on electric vehicles.
Good. The emphasis remains on electric vehicles. That is good. How many people do they even import electric vehicles into this country? That is number one. If it is public transport that you say you want to bring these cars, to serve that purpose. Already,
yes, but it's captured. You said for buses, for buses, carriage of people, yes.
Good.
It was captured, yes.
Good. You see, those of us in the industry, we welcome everything that government, talked about. But sometimes we want it to favor the masses and not to just favor some few people. That's our concern, right? The electric vehicles, already we have people who even have them. I mean, the saloon ones and other ones. They have them in the country. And they know how best even to do their charging and all that. But if you want to bring something as a public transport, then it means that you must, put so many things in place. The last time that we met Minister of Transport, they asked us what input or what we think that, which area do we think that can be factored going forward as far as when this program comes on.
So your association was consulted?
Yes.
Okay.
And we told them that, in fact, we are all Ghanaians. We've traveled from Accra to, the northern part of Ghana. We know how bad our roads are. We travel from Aflao to Elibo. We know how bad our roads are. If this is what government wants to do, then they need to expand our road. They need to give us a better road because these electric vehicles are not like the engine vehicles. Because for them, if you are working on them, their situation is very complex. So if you don't take time, it will end you somewhere that you will later even regret. So we need good roads. Number two, we need people who have knowledge when it comes to mechanical aspects of in case there's a fault. Because no matter what it is, human beings, we even fall sick, let alone vehicles and cars. No matter what it is, if they are on the road, they'll get fault. So when they get fault, how are we going to maintain that? That is point number two we made to them. Number three, we also talk about the charging point. We must get facilities that will be doing this charging because they are basically on electronics, electricals. So if there's a fault or there's something, you need to charge before you can continue the journey. Number four, our energy situation here in Ghana too is not, stable. We cannot beat our chest and say, we are 100%. We are not 100%. Sometimes you'll be there watching your television at home, but the light is off. They say, So we need to look at all these things. So when they ask us, these were the contributions that we also put before them. Fine. And in fact, they were all happy because it's good that when you are bringing something to people and the people that you are bringing the thing to come to you and give how they want the thing to move.
Yeah.
It will prepare your mind and prepare your ways to do whatever will help them.
Yeah.
Good. So, if finance minister has come out today to say that, oh, we are waiving this, we have given tax waiver on this electric
vehicles.
Electric vehicles. Have you first of all done what is needed, or you only just came in to make the announcement? So this is an announcement to some of us.
But Cliff, you made mention of the fact that how many people in Ghana have electric vehicles. Now, don't you think that this particular policy is one that seeks to encourage people to bring in more of EVs, electric vehicles?
Oh, you see, the thing is that we do not condemn that electric vehicles are very bad. That is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that we know, no matter what it is, there will be a time electric vehicles will take over. But it's not up to the time. But now, what preparation are we preparing ourselves to meet what is ahead of us? That is our point. Prepare yourself adequately well before the problem comes. But here in Ghana, we are very, very good when it comes to drafting of policies. We will sit down and draft a very genuine, beautiful thing, good English. Let's go to the implementation and see what they will be able to do. That is where the problem is. So this is what we are talking about. But not that we are saying the electric vehicles are not good. No.
Yeah.
Now, it's like a man who has, given a date, preparing himself that is going to adore his child, adore a ceremony. Meanwhile, that man too has never impregnated any woman. So what are you going to adore?
To adore.
So what we are saying is that the government is not ready and the government hasn't been prepared. But it just came in that, I have to go and prepare something and present something to them. You see, I said that on the 4th of last month, we were invited to Minister of Finance for a meeting. And that meeting, was that budget will be coming in November. So we should give our input, whatever that concerns us as vehicle dealers. We told them that, fine. If today invited us...
Which ministry invited you for
Minister
that?
of Finance.
Okay.
So we went there and they asked our concerns. And we told them that, in fact, at the moment, what we are facing, the challenge that we are facing is the duty. There are so many tax components that at least government should look at it and scrap some of them. Like the COVID levy that everybody knows that COVID is no more. What is the COVID levy doing? It should go off. But it did not capture in this budget. Special import tax. We said they should remove it.
Special import levy.
Yes.
It's tax, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
They said no, it's okay. And we even asked that we know there's going to be introduction of new tax, and government says that in fact on that day the deputy finance minister, the woman, Madam Abna Susanso Asare,
yes,
he responded that there is not going to be any new tax. He can assure us. Fine. We thank her for that because this presentation that the minister made, there was nothing like that. Even though this is just a summary that the minister came to present. Yes. He hasn't brought the full, the comprehensive document. So we don't know what is inside. When it comes and there's something like that, we will come here again and tell the whole world that what the madam said is different from what is happening here.
Right.
So, Mr. Kennedy, what we are saying is that if you want to bring in something, or if you want to bring in new things like this, it's good news. But prepare yourself well before you come out with that. If it is public transport if it is public transport that you want, Ayalolo buses are here. When you go there right now, some have small fault even with the windscreen, the car is parked there. Some have small fault on the brake, the buses are parked there. Some have small fault on the tire, the buses are parked there. Why don't you repair them? Why don't you do them good? And then bring them on board. Because last time I was watching the news, television news on the other network, I've forgotten the network, but if I make a research, I'll be able to find out. What people were saying is that the people in charge of that vehicles over there were saying that, the yellow buses, they did not create roads for those buses. Instead of them creating the bus lane for them, they didn't create the bus lane for them. That is why they are parked there. If you give these answers to these problems at this time, then it means that you are not on top of issues, right? Let us prepare ourselves very well and then bring it. But in fact, as a matter of fact, when we were invited, like I said, to the finance minister, we thought that this particular budget is going to serve us good. But this particular budget,
that's your people, the automobile dealers.
Yes.
Okay.
If I'll
Vehicle
be honest to
assets.
myself,
Yes.
this is uninspiring budget that I've ever witnessed so far. We don't do things like that. President Akufo, we went to him before the election 2020. He assured us that, I've come in to help and revamp your businesses because I know in opposition, I was talking about duties. Vice President, His Excellency, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, came to me. I even organized a mini rally for him 2 times. He was very happy. He asked us and we told him that, sir, these are the problems that we are facing. Please, when you come, you make sure that at least you deal with this problem because no car dealer in this country today, Mr. Kennedy, is happy with what is happening. When you go to fine, I'm very happy that you even showed Tema Harbor before we began the discussion. When you go to Tema Harbor today and they give you football, you can be playing there the whole day. There will not be any container. Why? Because we are not able to pay the taxes that are now imposed on us. They are too many and they are too harsh. So these are the things that we wanted government to do, but not waiving the taxes from electronic vehicles. Even if you waive those taxes, you are not waiving those taxes for the vehicle importers. I mean the car dealers. You are waiving this levy for the people who have already registered to do the assembling. And even the assembling people, the assemblers, they have issues with this particular thing that came. Why? Because when they came, they didn't come to manufacture electronic vehicles. They came to manufacture the already known vehicle that we know with the engine. And this is what the government even signed with them. But if you say whoever has a different a fresh plant like a electronics plant, that person is going to be given that facility, then what are you telling them?
Okay, so
you are not telling them the straightforward something. So, you're also not telling us to the straightforward something.
So what is this is that I know government has a deliberate policy to go electronic because that's what the world is going through because of global warming. Climate change is actually putting a lot of pressure on every government, and there are deliberate efforts by governments worldwide to tilt towards that direction. And so government has a deliberate policy to go there. And I know that for a fact that the Ministry of Transport of Ghana is championing or spearheading this particular policy by government. And I know that they've been through almost all the regions of Ghana to sensitize people on government's quest to encourage the importation and use of electronic vehicles in our country. That's for a fact. I know that. So for me, if you ask me where I sit, I think that is a policy that has been put forward by government to encourage the use of electric vehicles pending the long term. We can start from somewhere, and I think that that's what government is doing. I think that it's not out of place for government to bring such incentives to encourage people to do that.
I'm not cutting you short. In my conversation, I said that nobody is against government, bringing electronic vehicles.
Right.
We are not against that. But what we are saying is prepare yourself very well to meet the situation or the challenge that's ahead of you. Simplistic.
Yeah.
Fine.
So you mentioned the issue of charging points for I understand in the country, so far in Ghana, I think we have about 4 or 5 charging points located at very. I understand Total Ghana. Not to promote anybody's business. It's also leading in this particular, charge. It's leading this particular charge, and then there are some private entities that have also done some. Advantage points. Some in Accra and some in other locations, just to encourage the use of electronic vehicles. So it tells you that even before we start, the foundation is being laid, for these things to happen.
You see, we know that and we understand that. You see, even you are not a dealer, but you've been able to, make all this research and come out with this.
Yes.
Let alone the dealers. We have more information than perhaps you may have. Fine.
So you have this information, you are hiding it from us.
No, what do I have to hide?
Because you want to hide. You want to hype.
No. What do I
association.
The thing is, if you are doing something like the Ministry of Transport invited us,
yes,
we told them, and they all acknowledged.
You said the Ministry of Finance invited you. Did the Ministry of Transport invite you?
They both invited us. As for the Ministry of Transport, we went there to give our input to them as far as with regard to how these electronic vehicles will be handled in the country. But for the finance ministry, we went there just to give them our input also in the budget. So they're separate issues, right? Now, if you come to the electronic vehicles that we are talking about, it is not only Accra or Kumasi that are going to operate these vehicles. We are talking about countrywide because we want to promote just because the climate situation.
Yes.
When you are using a vehicle, the electronic vehicle, the carbon emission is 0. So we know that it will not give us any smoke and all that.
Absolutely.
Fine. Number 2, when you are driving the the electronic vehicle, it doesn't make any noise. When the car is even behind you, you will not even see that the car is behind you, right? Fine. And all these advantages we know are there. But it is not like you tell the people that we are giving waiver. Listen, you've told the people that you've given them waiver, that those who are going to import under this particular program, if you should have explained further that, the waiver that we are giving are going to benefit the assemblers, vehicle assemblers in this country, and those who have registered, we will not have any problem. But the news out there is that, today when we are importing an electronic vehicle, you will not pay any tax because government has...
But you don't blame the Ministry of Finance for that because they have stated explicitly what they want to do. They're explicit. If somebody hears it and jumps at it and takes it and runs with it, misconstruing or, misinforming people about it, that's not the ministry's case, is it?
No, it is the ministry. The thing is...
Because it is stated in black and white, explicit, that these are the categories of companies that are going to benefit from this. And so if somebody picks it and generalizes it, do you blame the ministry for it?
Why won't I blame the ministry for it? Who brought that information, first of all, into the system? I don't know. Somebody don't know. The thing is, what I know and what you know is different from what somebody somewhere also knows.
Right. Okay, I think you've spoken for long, Uncle Cliff. Let me go to Rashad and come back to you. When I told you, when I began, I told you to educate us on semi-knockdown, knockdown, and you even mentioned advanced knockdown or something.
Enhanced
knockdown. So when I come back, please, let's stay with that and educate us on that.
Thank
you. So I told you when I come to you, Rashad, you tell us whether you've taken time to gather information on how this particular policy announced by government for 2024 is going to be implemented, how it's going to be done, and when it will kick off.
Before I get to that,
prepare your members in readiness.
Before I get to that, I mean, your discussion with Cliff brought out certain things that I want to lay bare.
Right.
In my earlier submission, I mentioned that earlier in this year, like June, government launched the Planting for Food and Jobs.
Yes.
And as I said, AGRIC plays a lot of role when it comes to economic development in Ghana.
Right.
And for the past 15 years, Ghana's food security and initiatives has been anchored on the Food and Agriculture Sector Development Policy, the FASDEP 2.
Yes.
And under the FASDEP 2, there have been programs and initiatives in the medium term that will enhance food security.
Right.
And one of such initiatives under the medium term FASDEP 2 policy is the PFJ.
Right.
And the objectives of this PFJ is to create employment, especially among the youth.
Right.
Increase production and productivity, promote exports, and then reduce import dependency, substitution.
Right.
So reintroducing the exemptions at this time is going to help government to achieve this policy under the FASDEP 2 and then promote food security as we all are aware.
What's the FASDEP? What does it mean?
Food and Agriculture Sector Development Policy 2, yes. And that is the bigger agriculture program that we are working under, government is working under, and it's a 5-year plan as we are here now. And back to your question.
Yes.
Before I even ended my first submission, I did mention that like Oliver Twist would always ask for more, you know. The Tax Exemptions Act still exists. Which was launched last year. That's the Act 2022-1083. And we still want to push government to include agri-inputs explicitly in the Exemptions Act.
Right.
Because once it's not included, so that we don't come back the year after again to talk about exemptions again.
Yeah.
Because now government has agreed through the Ministry of Finance to grant these tax exemptions for agri-inputs. So as Oliver Twist, we appreciate government's commitment towards the exemptions, and this is going to have a very big impact on food security initiatives as we speak, heading towards next season.
Right.
But we will still engage government so that this will be included in the Exemptions Act, so that moving forward, we wouldn't have to come back again to talk about exemptions. Now that the government has shown commitment to granting these exemptions,
yes.
Before the exemptions were taken, hitherto, companies who are bringing in agri-inputs would have to apply through the Ministry of Agric at the Plant Protection and Regulatory Service Department, PPRSD.
Yes.
You have to apply to the ministry, and then the ministry, through the Ministry of Agric, then you apply to the Ministry of Finance for these tax exemptions. Usually it takes like 2 weeks maximum, and then these exemptions are being granted. So hopefully, now that this is the 2024 budget, most of these companies, this season has ended. People are already taking stock, and they're making provision to bring in new agri-inputs for the next farming season. And this exemptions or this commitment by government will influence to some level the quantities of agri-inputs that will be brought into the country next year, and then the prices as well. So we'll still follow up with government, and then to be sure that we follow through with the exemptions to make sure that it's part of the Exemptions Act.
This has been long coming, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, so let me find out from you, if you would walk us through the struggles. I know you did a lot of work, visiting the ministry, ministries, as it were, clamoring for this, asking for this, disappointments and all that, until this eventually happened. If you can chronicle, how the road has been. I know it's been quite turbulent.
It's been a long walk to freedom, if I'll borrow some words. And you concur, we've been on this platform a number of times.
Yeah.
And I would reiterate that this platform has really given us the leverage and then the voice for the stakeholders and then the ministries to hear and then respond to our plea.
Great. Thank God.
We've also,
thank you so much.
At the beginning of the year, we started off with a number of press engagements to draw the attention of stakeholders and then the government to understand the consequences of the removal of these exemptions on food security. Little did we know that it will.
But before you continue, yes. I must commend you. You look so fresh. I don't know whether within this
really?
these 4 days of the announcement,
it's been a relief.
You've heaved a huge sigh of relief.
It's been a relief.
Yeah.
And if you can recollect, in our first engagement, I told you I wasn't really smiling.
Yeah, that's true.
But today
you mentioned that. Yeah.
The nerves are all calm, and then it's all for God and country. Yeah. Because what we were seeking for wasn't only for us, but for the general good of the country, people and then the farming populace as well. So in our struggle, it's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
We've met with the Parliamentary Select Committee on Agriculture, the chairperson. We've met with the Minister of Agric, and during that time, that was when there was a transition from Akufo to the current minister, Brian Echampong.
Yeah.
And within that transition, we had to stay and wait for a substantive minister to be appointed, then we can go forward with our plea again. And within that window, that was when the agri calendar set in most part of the country.
Yeah.
And it already had a toll on cost of inputs and production.
Yes.
So when the minister was finally sworn in, we met him, and then he gave us a listening ear as well. Prior to that, we met Dr. Brian Champion, and I'll commend him as well because he gave us a lot of commitments and then promises, and this has really come true. I also use this platform to commend the Agric Minister, Dr. Brian Champion, for staying true to his words.
Right.
We met with the Deputy Agric Ministers as well.
Right.
Yao Frimpong. They also stayed true to their words and then told us that this will be looked at as soon as possible, and hopefully in the 2024 budget this has been captured. We even went as far as petitioning the Speaker of Parliament as well.
Wow.
Yes, because looking at the gravity of this situation, we really needed to get the exemptions in order to achieve all these food security initiatives under that we are all seeking to achieve. So it's really been a long struggle, and at the end of it all, results is what matters, and results is what we've had.
All right. So when I come back to you, I'll seek to find out from you how this particular policy would benefit the generality of the Ghanaian people, how it will trickle down to the people. But let me come to you. Yes, Mr. Ansu, educate us. Knocked down, semi-knocked down, and then you said the other one is? Enhanced knockdown. Yes.
As when we say semi-knockdown, we are talking of dismantle of components of vehicles.
Okay, that's semi-knockdown.
Yes. You know, sometimes these vehicles, the assemblers, when the cars are coming, they don't come in the form that we see them. You dismantle all the parts and you box them. Like somebody who has gone to buy tomato from maybe a market from Tema or somewhere. Right. That is how they do it. So when they come, then you begin to fix them. This is what we call semi-knockdown. Okay. Right. And then we have, that's the first stage, that we have the one that also will be dismantled, right? The tires will be removed, or the tires will be there, but the cowl and the body will not be there. So it will come in the form of chassis.
Right.
That's enhanced. Then complete one is somewhere, it's like the car will come in the form that it is already built.
Yes.
But only the tires, the car tires have been removed. So when they come, you only just move them from the container and then put them down and fix the tires. So these are the stages. Now, this policy that came, whichever way that you bring the car in this form, or you bring this equipment in this form, you are not going to pay. It is zero tax. You don't pay anything. Like I said, it's already there. So if I am going to operate that semi-knockdown and I'm not paying, if I'm operating complete knockdown and I'm not paying, if I'm operating enhanced knockdown and I'm not paying, how many people, let me use Aboseka, for example, can bring these components in a box and come and fix their cars here in Ghana? When you get even Tema here, the officer will not allow you because if you're not registered. And doing the registration also itself is not a day job, and it's also not a joke. It's not a small money as well. So if you want to promote Ghanaians as entrepreneurs, these are the areas that we also put before the president, that sometimes you do your homework well as a father before you also get outside and do whatever that you want to do over there. Because we are not against that. Anybody who is coming to invest and do business in Ghana is not what we dislike. No, we want people to come and help us to build our economy. However, don't forget also to empower your people who are also here doing the businesses. Right? This is all that we are talking about.
Awesome. Okay, so will this particular policy affect your business in any way?
In fact, assembling of vehicles do not affect our business. And then the waiver of this, the electronic vehicle importation also will not affect our business, because people who want to buy the engine vehicles will buy. People who want to buy electronic vehicles also will buy. But mind you, how many electronic vehicles that we even have in the market today? And how many people are even interested? How many people even have even seen it? It has to take time for us to educate people the benefit, why they should go in for electric vehicles and not the engine vehicles. And this, like I said, when we come to Ghana, it's about let's draft a policy. We are perfect. You will sit at your office, put pen on paper, write all the good English, but come out there, do proper sensitization to the people. Let them understand why we are moving from this stage to the other stage. But you haven't done that. Suddenly you just want to create an impression as if the waiver that you have given is going to benefit the people, the whole people, which is false. This is why I'm emphasizing that they shouldn't have come at this time. What is too?
What time should it have come?
You should do the proper education to the people before coming out.
All right. But I told you that the Ministry of Transport has done sensitization all over the country.
Ministry of the Transportation.
And you even alluded to the fact that they called you. You alluded to the fact that they called you to go and make inputs.
No, the thing is, they invited us. They asked for the input. We gave the input to them. Yes. And they also said that we will be coming again.
Yes.
So it is when you meet a small group of people, right? Yes. You haven't done anything. Ghana is not for only
you are the leadership. You are the leadership.
I know. But the thing is, we the leadership, you only met us, right? You gave, you asked us what we need.
Yes.
We told you what we need. Fine. Have you taken your time to find out from us whether what you told us has also gone down to the people? Have you gone there
But
to
if you have gone back and told them, we told our people, and this is what they are saying.
Fine, but they said they will invite us again. They haven't invited you again. How are you going to?
Did you drink tea when you went there?
We don't drink tea.
What do you drink?
We don't drink anything.
Anyway, that was on the lighter side. Okay, so this is our report here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at the exemptions and waivers announced by the Finance Minister, the Honourable Ken Ofori-Atta, in Parliament last week. And we have zeroed our discussion tonight on two sectors. That's the vehicle sector and then the agri sector, where he announced some exemptions and waivers for agri inputs and indeed for electric vehicles. And that's what we're discussing tonight. And with us in the studios tonight, Mr. Rashad Kadri, who is the Programs Manager for Crop Life Ghana, and indeed Mr. Clifford Ansu, who is the General Secretary of the Vehicles and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Well up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Assets All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima,
tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the project and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm. Sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, so we're back. Welcome back. This is Zion Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we're taking a look at the waivers and exemptions announced by the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta in Parliament in the Government Economic Policy and Budget Statement for the year 2024, in which he announced some waivers and exemptions, and we're taking a particular look at the electronic vehicle and indeed the agro inputs waivers tonight. And I introduced my guest earlier. I'll introduce him again, Mr. Clifford Ansu is the General Secretary of the Vehicles and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana, and indeed Mr. Kadiri Rashad is the Programs Manager for Crop Life Ghana. They are the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with. I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353. You can call in now and let us hear what you have for us as far as this particular topic is concerned. We shall be going inbox and share the rest of your messages with the rest of the world. But let me come to Rashad before I come to Mr. Ansu, who engaged us, vigorously and quite, strongly behind the scenes while the break was ongoing. I told you I would come for you to tell us how this particular policy can benefit the generality of the Ghanaian people.
So basically, if you look at the agri sector, it is divided into 5 categories. We have the crops, livestock, cocoa, fisheries, and then forestry or logging. And then, so looking at this, exemptions covers all these categories as well. And where we are more particular about is the crops. For instance, as I mentioned, the cost of inputs.
Yes.
Last year or this year, without the exemptions, for instance, a company imported a 40-footer container without with exemptions previously. They paid 25,000 Ghana cedis.
Right.
But when the exemptions were taken off, the same 40-footer, they paid close to 110,000 Ghana cedis on the same 40-footer. So you can look at that difference.
Yeah. The huge
difference.
Yeah.
So what it only meant was that difference was going to be added into the cost of that crop protection product or that fertilizer or that agric input. So if an input was, let's say, a cost of a bottle of pesticides was somewhere 20 cedis, 25.
Right.
It skyrocketed to over 100 cedis. And towards the end of the farming season, farmers started complaining about the cost of inputs.
Right.
And then a lot of them had to downsize their farm sizes, reduce the number of inputs that they used in terms of quality seeds, and then crop protection fertilizers as well. And this had an effect on production. So now that these exemptions have been granted, moving into the next agriculture or farming year, definitely is going to have an effect on prices. Prices would come down, and then farmers are going to have access to quality and affordable agri-inputs.
Okay.
And then a lot of youth will go into agriculture as one of the objectives of the Planting for Food and Jobs.
Right.
We are going to look at increasing production and productivity. A lot of the products that we used to import, we can have import substitutions, and then push for this and stop the importation, because the Ghana's import bill on some of these agri products is unimaginable.
Right.
It's huge. So if you're able to cut down our import bills on some of these agri commodities and then promote import substitutions, it's also going to increase our GDP as well.
Right.
So moving forward into next year, farmers should be sure that with these exemptions, cost of inputs would be very moderate, and then the access and availability will be there as well, and then we can increase productivity.
Right.
For instance, as we are now, if you take rice, for instance, as we said, there's a deficit of about 60% of rice production in Ghana.
Right.
We are producing only about 40%. And where is the rest coming from? Imports.
Right.
Currently, recently, I think India announced that they were going to cut down some export of rice into some countries, including Ghana. And processors and then some of the rice value chain actors started panicking. But this shouldn't be the case because we have the capacity to produce.
Right.
If the right inputs are given at the right prices, then our food security initiatives will not be far-fetched.
Awesome. All right, so let's go into the inbox and take some messages that viewers have sent in. This one says, hello, IMaH. This move to encourage EV importation is futuristic and commend government for taking a leadership role in Africa. This one's from Bless in Kaswa. Thank you so much, Bless, for your message. This one says, hi IMaH. Our guest from Vaduk mentioned that these exemptions were already being enjoyed by a registered group. Can he shed more light on that? This one is from Kwajo in Edum, Kumasi.
Thank you very much. I've already stated that.
Yes.
The vehicle assemblers that have registered under the Ghana Automotive Development Agenda,
yes,
the manufacturers, they are enjoying tax holidays.
Mm.
They don't pay taxes for whatever that they import into this country, as far as assembling issues are concerned, including even the fully unit-built vehicles. When I say a fully unit-built vehicle, I'm talking about a complete car that has already been manufactured.
Right.
They don't even pay tax for that. Whatever they bring in, they don't pay anything. If government is now extending, then it's giving them another extension for 8 good years.
Right.
They don't
okay. All right. Okay, so this one says, can Rashad educate us on how including agro inputs in tax exemptions act will be done? This one's from Umaru from Malam.
Yeah, so thank you, Umaru, and that is why I mentioned that as Oliver Twist always asks for more.
Yeah.
Yes, that the Exemptions Act was passed last year in 2022. And since it is an act of parliament, would have to go through the process again for it to be reviewed and then included. So that is also going to take some process as well, and then we'll engage the right stakeholders as well to get it captured.
Right. Okay, this one says, as for us, we just hope the price of produce will reduce as a result because things are too expensive lately. Adobia in Accra says, thank you very much, Adobia, for your message. We have tons of them here, but for want of time, I would go and then try to wrap up. You can watch the abridged version where we'll bring you all the messages that we have. Remember, the phone line is activated 020-552-8353, and you can call in and contribute to the discussion. So I would want to find out from you, Rashad, how what the future holds for agri input suppliers and importers, your companies, so to speak. Yeah.
Currently, we've seen lights at the end of the tunnel, and I'm very positive that with the minister's commitment to reintroducing the exemptions on agri inputs, the objectives of the medium-term goals, as the PFG is one of them under the FASDEP, would be achieved. Moving forward, I am very positive that our production in all the sectors, as I mentioned, cocoa, livestock, crops, forestry, fisheries, are going to go up because all the inputs will be given exemptions and the cost will come down, which will make more people to buy and then venture into agri. And what I'm very much particular and then very happy about is the youth. This will be an opportunity for a lot of youth to get into agriculture because now input prices will come down, access and availability would be there. So the youth shouldn't shy away from agriculture. They should take advantage of these exemptions as well. As I said, it's for the general good,
Absolutely.
the greater good.
Yeah.
So I am urging the youth in particular to take advantage of these exemptions. That is going to affect input prices and make it affordable and available moving forward so that they can also get into agriculture and then we can all increase the productivity and then get the full security that we are all looking out for.
I'll come back to you. And when I come to you, I'd like you to tell us, I should have done that before you started, what Crop Life is about. Sure. Because when you mention Crop Life Ghana, people wonder what you are into, apart from knowing that you are the entity that leads, companies that's into agro-inputs and agri-services and all that. But let me come to Mr. Ansu and find out from you, at the end, what will government do to make the Vehicle and Assets Union of Ghana, happy?
What we want government to do, what we want government to do for us is to reduce the taxes, the import taxes. They are too huge, and it's unbearable. As a result of that, vehicle sales in this country today is not like before, and people are not even able to pay.
Are you sure about that? People are driving DVs all over the place and enjoying life. You are saying
the thing is, if you see somebody or if you see one person driving DV, it does not mean that everybody is driving DV, because the price now for. Okay,
so please hold on. I'll come back to you. You were beginning to open fire again. Let me go on to the phone lines and welcome a caller. I didn't get the name well. Hello, good evening. George, yes. Hello, George. Hello, George. Good evening. Well, I think we've lost George. The production team will try and see if we can link up with him before we wrap up. Yes.
For Toyota Yaris, 56,000 cedis. Duty alone. Okay. So if you are paying 56,000 cedis for Toyota Yaris, how much are you going to sell that 56,000 the other vehicle for the person? Because you purchase the vehicle from somewhere, you ship the vehicle from somewhere. Some people assisted you in bringing even the car from where you bought the car to the shipping yard before you do that. The car was brought here. So if you are here alone, paying 56,000 cedis as a duty, how much are you going to sell it? But before,
ideally, how much should have been the duty?
The duty should have been at least 20-something thousand. Would be okay, so that you encourage more people. But the thing is, if the cars are coming in more, government can get more revenue. Yeah. But if the cars are also not coming, government cannot get revenue. And government has restricted the thing to the point that I don't know whether because of, the assemblies, that is why these things, but the thing is, we, the existing dealers, we do not against the assemblies coming in. We encourage them. We are working hand in hand. Let them do their businesses. Let us also do our businesses. But not everybody will be able to purchase a brand new vehicle. As for that, because all the fingers are not the same. Yeah. So reduce the taxes. This is what we've been complaining all the time. But it appears that government does not even want to listen to the reduction of the duties and the taxes at the harbor. Like I even began, I said, a levy like COVID-19 levy. This is not necessary. This is not necessary at the moment. Why do you still
you're not the only one. You're not the only one complaining about it. Yeah.
You see, there are so many things that can be reduced. If you ask them, what the government officials will tell you that, but we came to meet import duty. But we came to meet import levy. But we came to meet VAT. Good, you came to meet VAT. You came to meet import levy. You came to meet the import duty. But you've forgotten that you've increased the...
yes. I understand we have Mr. Eric Boateng on the line. He's the president of the Automotive Dealers Association. Let's give him some 2 minutes because our time is even almost up. Good evening, Chief, if you can hear me.
Yeah, fine, sir.
Yeah, we're supposed to have you in studio, but I had an emergency took you away. We just want to find out from you what you make of government's decision to give some tax incentives, that's some waivers to the importation of electronic vehicles in our country. He mentioned knockdown, and indeed my good friend here also mentioned enhanced knockdown, EVs, electronic vehicles. What does that portend for your group?
All right, thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to say good evening to your cherished viewers. Yes, our opposition to this policy which concern our brother or senior General Furata went to Parliament and let the public know what is going around concerning the e-vehicles. Our position is you have waived. That is, from 8 years, the electric vehicles are not going to pay any taxes. But let's go back to we, the second-hand dealers. We, the second-hand dealers, government always calculated the engine capacity for us so that we can use that and pay the duties. So our stand is that while you are waiving 8 years, no tax paying, and we, the Ghanaians, the citizens, you said you are taking 2% out of the 100% we are paying for. And that is very dicey. So all my members are pleading that if we are telling the old dealers in the system, that we should pay 80%, but you, the government, is taking 2% out of what you normally takes from us, then it's something. It means that you want to collapse our business. So that is what we are pleading to the government, that it should come again and then see to it that if it's 40% government is taking and we're supposed to pay 60%, then it will be balanced. But saying that those assemblies, or what you call it, the e-vehicles, from 1 to 8 years, they are not going to pay anything. But we, the old dealers in the system, he said we should pay 90% on import duty. I mean, it's something we cannot buy. So that is our position.
Well, I know that this is a deliberate policy by government to encourage the importation and use of electronic vehicles in Ghana, as I was telling my good friend, Mr. Clifford Ansu. Don't you think that that's what we should be encouraging?
Oh, why? You should encourage, but as you said, with this position, it's very difficult for us to say we should consider. It can't be possible, because it means that we want to collapse our business. That's what I can say. We want to collapse our business, because if you said you are taking out of 2% and we should pay 98%, and then the e-vehicles from 1 to 8 years, they are not going to pay anything, then that means it's very dicey. That is our position, that the government should come back again, so that if there's something they can do about it. If it's like 40% and we are paying 60%, we can consider.
All right.
Means that we, the second our business is at.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Eric Barton. You joined us late, and so we do not have enough time to talk to you. But I'm sure next time we can organize a full program so that you can come and then share your thoughts with us, so that we bring proponents of this particular policy and see how that debate would go. But I think that, for me, I totally agree with government that, yes, we should encourage the use, the importation and use of electronic vehicles in our country in our quest to, reduce, carbon emissions in our country, and to tag along and go along with the rest of the world as we all clamor for a very, very clean environment. So let me come to you and tell us, just in 2 minutes, about CropLife Ghana, and then we shall wrap up.
Basically, CropLife is a membership organization, and our members include all the manufacturers, importers, and distributors of pesticides, fertilizers, and other agri inputs in Ghana. We are affiliated to CropLife Africa, Middle East, and then CropLife International as well. So since it's a membership organization, we are open to other people who are into the manufacture, importation, and distribution of crop protection products,
Right.
fertilizers, and other inputs in Ghana.
Awesome. Thank you very much indeed. So Mr. Rashad Kadre is the programs manager for CropLife Ghana. He just told you what CropLife is into in this country. And indeed, Mr. Clifford Ansu is also the General Secretary of the Vehicles and Assets Dealers Union of Ghana. And they've been sharing their thoughts with us on some tax incentives and waivers introduced by government in the government's economic policy and budget statement for the year 2024 as presented by the Honorable Ken Ofri-Atta in Parliament last week. And that's how we wrap up tonight's edition of Our Report here on Metropolitan Television. Remember, the abridged version of the show will be aired on Ghana Television at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday. Make a date and watch that. We want to thank you so much for being a part of tonight's program. Thank you for being our guests. God willing, next week we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of the show. We wish to say a big thanks to our sponsors, that's Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and Indeed Phoenix Insurance. We shall bounce back next week. We encourage you to keep watching the rest of our programs here tonight. And indeed, have a super week ahead. My name is Kennedy Mona. Thanks for watching and good evening.